would like to welcome you to my own personal kitchen this week for week 7 of the Learn, Grow, Eat, Go program recipe demonstration that we're doing at Snyder Elementary. Now this week's featured recipe is called Grape Tomato and Cilantro Salad. This is an easy recipe that can be put on the table from start to finish in about 5 minutes. And this is so nutritious because of the grape tomatoes that we are using. So let's get right to the recipe this week. So one of the main ingredients that you can see on your recipe is grape tomatoes. These tomatoes, as you can see, have a very rich and red color. Now that red color causes this tomato to have lycopene in it. Lycopene is an antioxidant that helps protect our cells. These tomatoes also are extremely high in vitamin C, which we've been talking about vitamin C and how it helps our cuts and our wounds to heal and also helps fight off that infection in our bodies. So the recipe has called for 2 cups of grape tomatoes, whole. So when you measure those tomatoes, you're supposed to put them in your cup whole and measure them. And then it says to go ahead and take them and to chop them in half. Now for my family and for what we're doing tonight, I'm going to chop it into 4 different pieces because we like it just a little bit smaller. You will notice after you chop the tomatoes, you have less than 2 cups. So anytime you're reading that recipe, you need to follow it exactly on how it says because it changes the recipe and how it turns out in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and dump these tomatoes in my bowl since I've already cut them. Remember how we talk about washing and how important it is to wash our vegetables so we get rid of that dirt and the germs and the bacteria. These tomatoes were already pre-washed. So we've got our grape tomatoes in the bowl. The next ingredient it calls for is fresh cilantro. Cilantro is an herb. The part of the plant that you eat on cilantro is going to be the leaves. Cilantro is used in a lot of different sauces and hot sauce as a spice and a flavor. It tastes really good, but just remember that a little bit of cilantro goes a long way. It kind of gets a little hot and a little too spicy if you get carried away with it. Also, we're just going to use the leaf part of the cilantro and not the stems. So I'm going to take these off of the stem, just like that. And I'm just going to use a little bit, and then I'm going to take my knife and we're going to chop this up. You want to kind of chop cilantro in a little bit finer pieces just because it is just a little bit spicy. So I'm just going to chop that up real fine. We talk about our knife safety and watching our fingers when we're cutting with the knife and different things. So I'm just going to keep chopping that up. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that in the tomatoes. I can already smell the flavor coming from this cilantro. Now the next thing it calls for is a fresh onion, a green onion, and it says we're going to use about half of it. You'll notice on these onions it's got the green part at the top, we call that the tops, and then the bottom part of that onion, it's got the roots on the bottom. We don't want to eat the roots, so we're going to slice those off. And then we're simply going to start chopping this onion into smaller pieces. It doesn't call for a whole lot of onion, so if you like onion a lot and your family likes a lot of onion, you can add more to your taste for your family. Now we're going to add that in there. We're already halfway through our recipe at this point, and we've only probably spent maybe a minute, so that's not too bad. Now with you chopping the tomatoes at home, it's going to take a little bit longer. The next thing it calls for is 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're just going to measure this out. Actually, it calls for 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We're just going to drizzle this over this tomatoes and onions and the cilantro. Next, we're going to add some salt and pepper. We're just going to sprinkle that salt on top. I'm going to use a cracked pepper and grind it. Our family likes a little bit bigger pieces of black pepper, so we're going to grind that in there. And then I'm simply just going to toss it up. And we've already got our recipe. So 5 minutes start to finish to the table. That's a simple, very nutritious recipe to get your family eating more vegetables. Now, one thing I'm going to do tonight, which this is a variation, is I'm going to chop up some good old avocados and add some good fat to that recipe. Avocados are extremely nutritious for you, and our family likes the avocados in this recipe. I'm going to serve this dish up with some chicken enchiladas and rice and beans, and dinner's on the table. So that concludes week 7 of our recipe demonstration, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great day. Thanks.